Greetings there, all virtual mechanics. Thanks for clicking. How you doing? I appreciate that you stopped by for this oldie but goodie game from Red Dot. One of the first iterations of Mechanic Simulator. 2015, that is. Steam was shoving it in my face as a recommendation, and it was hard to turn it down when the whole package with all the DLC was under the price of a macchiato. There's a DeLorean DLC. I mean, isn't that enough? Maybe not for some. But there's also auto manufacturers Bentley, Maserati, and Mercedes represented by both modern and ancient models from the brands. The Maserati Sebring has already made an appearance in my shop, though I barely leveled. I'm looking forward to seeing the GT. It's one of my personal favorite cars. I highly recommend getting it with all the DLC in the deal because that would get you all of the fun expansions to the experience. Without them, it's a fairly simplistic game on its own as you start in just a basic garage with 2 lifts and a spare landing for customer vehicles. Jobs will come in by way of the phone sitting on your desk. Up pops a menu of a waiting list with some clues to what you're getting yourself into, with or without the cheater part list. There will be icons indicating which car system the repair involves and the customer's complaints, much like what you might hear if you were a real-life service advisor. This gives you a rough idea of diagnostics, if not some choices, with a complete parts list ready to order. When we're near the car, we can hover over the body and hit the O key to open the repair order for the vehicle. This is going to give us more clues to where we start. Limited work can be done in the center staging area of the garage, so unless it's the top compartment engine bay work like an airbox or plugs or a filter, then it's helpful to use the M key to move the car over to a lift. Like magic, boom! It's across the room and mounted on a lift already. And if only it worked like that in real life. But getting lower cars onto a lift is sometimes an ordeal that takes hours. There's some careful considerations and calculations to do before getting a Lamborghini-type low car into place. But here, just tap a key and you're done. Following the car to the lift and circling around, you find the lift's control panel. Clicking on it will get the car up off the ground. Some of the other menu features you'll find when hovering over the car's surface are the toggle body mode and toggle condition mode, which are like having awesome X-ray vision to find the source of problems. There's also extra menus for swapping engines and tires, along with the useful addition of the tablet once you've progressed to unlock it. This will save you trips back and forth to the computer for ordering parts. To get started, click on the portions of the car that the game is sectioned off, like suspensions on either side, front and back, or any of the undercarriage sections where you might spot any red using the examination mode. Clicking on many parts, like the wheels, zooms in for further unbolting, and if not immediately obvious what to do next from your personal knowledge of cars, any free parts to be removed will be highlighted in green while you're in the disassembly mode. It follows a standard procedure of how a car would go together, but it's missing some really obvious aspects of vehicles like fluids or more complicated assembly. Still, it's mildly interesting. Sometimes it may require backing out of one section and moving to an adjacent section to access parts that need to be disconnected in order to free out the worn-out culprits. They usually look rust-covered and will light up in red when checking in the examination mode. To save time, we can order a list of parts ahead if provided in the customer job order. If you're having to diagnose without, you can try to break it down in one section at a time. Worn items will show their percentage in your inventory. To reassemble the car, it's basically the same thing in reverse once the new parts are in place, backtracking through everything that we take apart to get there, then moving through each area where everything is failing. Check the work order, and that will let you know if you've completed the job. Let's just finish this up really quick. grab a shot of the car using camera mode, which can be opened at the little point and shoot sitting on the desk next to the computer. Cute! The jobs start quite simple and include oil changes, where you must use the oil catcher located in the corner of your garage behind the waiting area. If we don't use this, then we end up spilling oil all over the floor when unbolting the drain plug, and cleanup costs. It requires a little positioning to get this right. There will also be simple filters and brake jobs to help you build up your XP before it starts to progress into doing a lot more suspension jobs. Eventually it gets to the guts of an engine, but the game did give a bit to unlock through the toolbox. Along with upgrading yourself to being a faster and more efficient mechanic through skills, there's also boosting the probability of repairing parts and specialty tool training. This is where you will get your OBD reader and compression testing abilities. It's going to be a while before I can unlock this in campaign mode, so luckily there's a sandbox mode that comes with the DLC. It has a massive bank account and everything's unlocked, so that way I can show a few things of the other features of the complete package. A bit of the fun is the garage customization to get an interior a little closer to your style. You can swap out in multiple walls and floors for contrasting looks, and also some splashes of color options thrown in, especially for the trim and lifts. A coffee machine like this one would be fantastic to have around a home garage. You could get your oil, brake fluid, and your latte on tap. Very nice. Clicking on the garage door, which opens a map for several other locations, including the auction where you can find cars to flip. Watching some of the cars roll over the auction block while waiting for my particular ponies to come up, like this Mustang fastback looking clone and a couple others. I might as well spend some cash in the sandbox mode generously gave me. It's pretty standard. When the desired car comes up, slam the raise button and tell winning. Then send it back to your shop, or another expansion of the game, your parking garage, where you can store quite a few cars to backlog for projects. It's pretty much all in the interest of flipping them for sale because there's not a ton of ways to drive the cars in the game aside from a short test track, which basically looks like a trip around the storage yard of a warehouse. A short acceleration sprint, several skirts through a slalom before a row of speed bumps to test the suspension, and finished off with a braking test that you'll have to creep the car up to if your car stops too well. I believe it's the Performance DLC package that provides the drag strip feature. You can at least see how much wheel spin you can get out of it. The other stop comes in the Body Stripping DLC, which allows you to enter a $1,000 fee and take whatever parts you can get from what's inside.
What did I tell you? 88 miles per hour!
There's a paint booth that's super basic, the test pass, which I'm not entirely sure all what its function is, and a dyno. But there's not a ton going on in this game outside of your immediate shop, where you can space off in a fulfilling easy mode of repair orders until your XP bar starts to unlock some of the other options. Even then, most of what there is to do is still happening inside the garage. Some scenery to get used to, or change it up periodically with the customization options. Just a warning, it can get to petty, frustrating routine if you're in a hurry to get all of the extras, and it's a long grind. I likely won't spend a ton of time grinding in this one, not because I don't like the premise, but merely because since then Red Dot's released two more major upgrades for this title for 2018 and 2021. Both of which stack on the list of new features that makes the game more immersive and slightly more realistic compared to working on a real car. Only slightly. By 2021, they've added fluids to your list of concerns. Also, a consideration is that 2018 and 2021 versions come with mod support and are linked to the Steam Workshop, so that you can import additional project cars or tracks into your game. It seems that 2015 will end up being a bit of a demo to the series, But I don't regret the purchase to find out the foundations of Mechanic Simulator can be very fun, just repairing the cars and problem solving. It's convincing enough to get me to buy subsequent versions. I can't say the game would be a very good educator on automotive ideas applied. One might learn how to identify basic parts we see on common vehicle models, but chances are, a lot of players already know them. But it could be a fun way to engage beginners to cars, especially the kids. It really isn't entirely accurate for procedurally how we might actually repair a car in real life, trying to remove as little as possible to access what is needed. And here you can just strip the car for no reason other than curiosity. If you have little to no experience or expectation to learn, then you might not be disappointed with this simulator. For 2015, it was alright. Hopefully I'm not setting my expectations too high for Mechanic Simulator 2021. And yep, it's totally going to be a video eventually in case you wanted to check back for that. Thank you for sticking around. Wishing you a wonderful rest of your day. Take care, and bye-bye!